We have a massive Giannis Antetokounmpo update to go over today as a new report has dropped revealing some huge information and insight into his future in Milwaukee and what John Horst and the Milwaukee Bucks front office plans to do with Giannis this offseason. A huge report to go over today. And folks, this is exactly what Bucks fans wanted to hear. We also have Shaq coming out and revealing some very interesting information and speaking out and making some interesting comments surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo himself and his future with the team. Folks, a ton to go over today. You're going to want to stay tuned. But before you do all of that, if you're a part of the 84% who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been absolute beasts with the support. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support over here as we continue to produce daily Bucks content. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bucks are in an interesting spot. We're all well aware. Giannis requested a trade, all these different things, or not Giannis requested a trade, but there's rumors that Giannis requested a trade and all these different things. But hold your horses here because a report dropped revealing that might not be the case and that things are looking very, very up surrounding Milwaukee and the future of this team. Folks, let's dive right into it here now. So we got a new report from Jake Fisher, and you can see this here. Report: the momentum for Giannis requesting a trade from the Bucks has, quote, significantly stalled, per Jake Fisher. The common belief among league's insiders is that he will remain the only, he'll remain with the only franchise he's ever played for. So this one is very intriguing because there's been all the media talk about Giannis getting traded and about how he's going to request a trade. Some people are saying he already did request a trade. All this. And Jake Fisher comes out yesterday, and do stay tuned until the end. We have an interesting comment from Jake Fisher directly surrounding this report that you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for. So hold on that. But we'll start with this. Significantly stalled, Giannis requesting a trade. Now, this is what we all wanted to hear. The common belief, again, is that he's going to remain with the Bucks. And there's been a lot of conversations about, from Bucks fans on Twitter saying, we all knew this. The media was trying to push him away from Milwaukee. Of course, I had a video yesterday on, the New York Knicks going all in, but also about how Giannis has been doing a lot of charity work with the team, all these different things. And ultimately, it seems like there is growing both frustration from other teams and also growing belief industry-wide that Giannis isn't going to become available for a trade here. And then after all this, and according to Shams, they still yet, at least as of last week, discussed directly the future between the front office and Giannis. But it seems like things have stalled a little bit, and I think Bucks fans are okay with that. Of course, we've been talking a lot on this channel about Bucks trades and how there's a lot of packages coming out. The Raptors are heavily involved. The Knicks are heavily involved. But it's still yet to be clear that he's requested a trade. He has not requested a trade yet out of Milwaukee. And you can see this report and rumor and report from this article. Rival team is growing skeptical. The Bucks star will be available in trades. Let's dive into the exact quote here in a second. So we all know that all has been quiet on the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade front for some time now. And ever since then, of course, since that report from Shams, radio silence. There has been almost no substantive reporting on Giannis's future. And this is the second paragraph. And it is not known if such a meeting ever took place. With the caliber flipping in June in the NBA draft and the unofficial start of the trade season looming, according to Jake Fisher, there's a growing skepticism among rival teams that Antetokounmpo will become available via trade this offseason. This was, of course, on Friday. So, yesterday's Bleacher Report, live stream. However, he did clarify, and again, take this with a grain of salt. It is very good news, and of course, it's what we've been waiting to hear, but it is Jake Fisher, and it wasn't a concrete report saying he is 100% going to stay. It's just what he's hearing. The quote was, but I'd say for now, talking to people around the league, the assessment of the expectation is that they're going to believe it when they see it. That someone who has been valued, valued very high and being the franchise face, the central linchpin of the Bucks franchise is going to want to play somewhere else seems a little bit crazy. Not definitive reporting, but it is the current sentiment among league executives, and league executives are perfectly capable of getting surprised. So basically, he's hearing from talking to other league executives. This one isn't directly from the Bucks, but it's from other league executives that they're going to have to believe it when they see it. And of course, we've seen trades at Luka Doncic. Blockbuster trades are becoming more and more common. Of course, players forcing their way out. I'm still going to be on the optimistic side and say that he probably stays with Milwaukee, but there is no doubt that this report is at least encouraging news. And let me know down below, do you think he's going to stay in Milwaukee? Do you think all of this reporting surrounding the Bucks and, Giannis wanting to leave, or potentially wanting to leave rather, is all just not made up, but, the media trying to push Giannis out of Milwaukee because it's a small town, a small organization in theory? Do you think it's just that they're trying to, push that propaganda, or do you think that there actually is a case for Giannis to be traded? Either way, a very big report, one that we were kind of hoping for a very long time to see. However, I do want to point this out. Now, again, this is the exact quote. So go ahead and read this quote and make your own kind of assumption based on what he says here. Not firm reporting necessarily. It's not like a Shams bomb saying Giannis has decided to stay in Milwaukee and work forward to building this team, which it'll be difficult, but it is what it is. It's more so he's hearing around the league from other executives that he doesn't want to necessarily, the Bucks don't want to do that necessarily. Now, he came out and said this. You can see this here in the, initial tweet. He came out and said, feeling compelled to share actual video of my live stream on Thursday. Any outlet or account stating I reported something definitive about Giannis's trade status didn't note that I was merely reflecting on what team folks are feeling right now. I don't know what Giannis is going to do. I don't think he does. I don't think the Bucks do. I know Milwaukee is operating as if he's coming back, so other teams got to do that too. I hope we can still update fans without getting stuff blown out of proportion. So he's referring to this tweet, but at the same time, I give you guys the full quote here from the live stream, so you guys make your own assumption based on that quote, of course. But I do ultimately think that, there is growing belief that he's going to be staying, but at the same time, he says he doesn't know what Giannis is going to do for sure. I think there are, reports starting to come out. And listen, the more and more reports that come out, they don't usually just come out, right? They mean stuff. And at this point, I think Jake Fisher, he probably is hearing from other teams that they are struggling with making, a big package offer, and that, they're not 100% decided on what they've done yet. And clearly, according to Shams, the Bucks haven't 100% committed either way yet. But it is what it is there. Now, speaking of the situation, he did receive, Giannis, a warning about leaving the Bucks from a, superstar forward, received a warning about leaving the Bucks from Shaq himself. He has a big warning. He said, and he knows a thing or two, but asking about a trade, of course, that happened in Orlando and the Lakers. He has a warning for Antetokounmpo if he decides he wants to move out of Milwaukee. Nobody cares what city you're in anymore. This ain't the 90s. The full quote was, I would tell him probably a bigger market doesn't matter. Social media is the market now. Giannis has been a name for himself on social media. If you go to LA, 50% of your contract goes to taxes, more pressure, and more stress. Being that he's in control of that ship, he should go upstairs and be like, I want to see all the free agents. I want phone numbers, and I want to talk to them. He should bring people to him. When I was coming up, it was the small market was too small. Probably need to go to a big market. But now every market is the same. Nobody cares what city you're in. This ain't the 90s. And he's right for, a lot of that. And of course, if Giannis, you think about it, I'm sure, and we know behind the scenes, Giannis had some sort of influence on them getting Damian Lillard. Now, whether or not he's going to be able to do that same thing for, other players in free agency, the Bucks are limited with future assets, they're limited with cap space, they're limited just in general here. And I think that's what kind of gets lost in all this from Shaq's thing. Like, yeah, he can call the free agents, they can make trades, all these different things. They don't have a ton of assets, right? First round picks, they don't have a lot of them. They gave a lot of them up in the Dame trade, all their second round picks. They gave up 5 second round picks in the Jay Crowder trade a few years ago, led to a championship, all these different things, right? The Bucks do not have a ton of future assets. They are in, Dame's going to be out. He has a torn Achilles probably the majority of the year, if not the entire year. They're in a very bad spot, right? They're in a very bad spot with this team. There's no sugarcoating it. And you guys can argue with me in the comment section. They're not in a good spot, right? You have Giannis. You either completely reset and just trade him and then rebuild for starting a huge package, or you keep him and you try to just remain somewhat competitive. But they don't have enough assets right now bearing a huge breakthrough from guys like Ryan Rollins, Andre Jackson Jr., just praying that these guys are going to be great and hitting on your veteran minimums. This team is going to be a contender going forward. So it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Is keeping Giannis the right move? Probably. It depends on what kind of, the spectrum you're on. Some fans really want Giannis to stay because they've witnessed mediocrity for 10 plus years. Some want him to go so they can try to compete for a championship once again, like they did in 2021. So it's going to be interesting. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this. Things are getting crazy. We'll keep you up to date. You guys are beasts. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.